Hi there, this is Dawn Del Vecchio with dawndelvecchio.com and this YouTube channel. And I'm talking to you today. I decided to make this video on a topic that is really arising a lot for me and other people in my life right now. And so I'm calling it relationship shocks. Why they seem to be happening a lot right now, especially in the sort of spiritual or high vibe community, and also how do we heal from them, or how do we process them in a way that fosters healing and understanding, and also lets us continue to move forward if we've received a shock. So here's what I wrote in my journal this morning, or here's how I started this. It comes out of left field, no warning, beyond perhaps an intuitive inkling or red flag gut feeling. Maybe it's a friend or a family member. Suddenly they attack. They betray you, or they drop you like a hot potato. What is this? More importantly, what can we do when this happens in order to foster understanding, to create peaceful resolve, if not with them, at least within ourselves? What processes or tools can help us with this? So I want to address this in two parts. The shorter part here first is, why might this be happening a lot right now? Why are we seeing perhaps a frequency of this? And then the second part is, what do we do about it? And so the first part, why is this happening so much right now? All right, let me get to my little notes. Okay, I'm calling this energetic destabilization. And if you've got your finger on the pulse of kind of what's going on the planet in terms of the human situation, but also the energies, so any of the empathic, intuitive, sensitives out there, and there are more and more of us, you probably can feel the shifts going on. And one way to describe this is to talk about the way, as we have been moving in alignment, our whole solar system moving in alignment with galactic center, the entire frequency of the planet and the solar system, the sun and all the planets, is raising in frequency. And that's, it's not my expertise to talk about that stuff. If that's a curiosity for you, I can do some, you can leave me some messages and I'll do some research and find some greater detail on that. But just for the moment here, let's just operate with this as a basic principle, as a possibility. The Mother Gaia herself is raising her frequency. Her frequency is increasing. Some say it's moving from a third dimension through fourth dimension to fifth dimensional vibration. So those of us who are living on Mother Gaia, we are feeling that. And here's the thing, if we are not doing what's necessary to pace with her, it's going to be more and more difficult for us to deal with it. It's like if you're operating at a really low vibrational level, or let's just say not even low, like you're operating at, a speed of 20 miles an hour or 20 kilometers an hour, and you're in an environment on a highway, say, where everyone's driving at 100 miles an hour or 100 kilometers an hour, you can't keep pace. And so people are going to pass you, but not only that, at some point all the lanes are going to be filled and you're going to have to go all the way over to the side, maybe even get hit or rear-ended because you're not able to keep pace. It's an imperfect parallel, but for our purposes here, just to sort of describe that. So what does that look like in our human condition? How are we not keeping pace? If we have a lot of unprocessed wounding in our subconscious, known as shadow material, if we have a lot of unprocessed emotions, emotional charge, negative feelings, old memories that are buried, fear-based feelings, if they're stuck in there, they're going to keep us vibrating at a lower frequency, which means we're not going to be able to keep pace as the frequency rises and rises. This is why in the other videos that I've made recently, I talk a lot about shadow work and how important it is at this time for us to take personal responsibility for our own shadow material. Because when we clear ourselves out and reintegrate shadow, it no longer operates like a drag, an energetic drag on our system. So unprocessed shadow material is one of the biggest ways that that people are getting stuck and unable to raise and tolerate the higher vibrational frequencies. It literally causes incredible stress if you're bogged down emotionally and energetically with your own unprocessed material, and if you're an empath, other people's energy, what I call OPE, and also now what I'm coming to understand is OPP, other people's projections. Their expectations, their projections, their negative energy sent toward you, or their expectations unspoken sent toward you. So all of these things can keep us from keeping pace with Mother Gaia and the raise of the vibrational frequency. Other things that can do that are feeding ourselves low vibes. How do you do that? Watch TV. Television is programming. It's programming to keep you operating at levels of low vibrational frequencies like fear, hate, anger, projection, anxiety, self-hate, all of that stuff. Another is feeding yourself low vibrational food. So animals that were processed in a way where they were traumatized and it was a violent experience, they're harvesting their death. So they're in some kind of what do you call it? Like the rote, like the machinery, and they're seeing the animals killed and tortured before them, and then they're up for cue. Or chickens that suffer and they don't even hardly have legs, they're just in these little things, or pigs, these little cages all their lives. All of that as well. GMO food, very low vibration because it's been manipulated. A lot of chemicals. Now, I'm not a doctor and I can't say don't take your meds. I don't know what meds you need, and you have to consult a physician before you make any decisions on that. However, we know that complicated combinations of medications over time can create a kind of toxic soup that can affect your liver. And when you toxify your liver, you toxify your mind, and it becomes very hard to raise your vibrational frequency or even think clearly. So these are all possibilities. And there's one more I really want to talk about here before we move on to energy tools to help you. And that is not connecting with Mother Gaia. So if you can touch the earth every single day, barefoot, bare belly on the earth is ideal. However, if you live in cold country, that's not always possible. Bare hands on trees, bare hands on rock, sitting on rock, even if you're bundled up, and then put your bare hands or kiss or your cheek or hug trees, any way you can to daily, on a daily basis, actually physically earth yourself. This will help you tremendously in keeping pace with the increasing frequency. Okay, so long and the short of it, you can't high vibe and keep pace with the energetic frequency raise if you are clogged yourself with dense ideas, beliefs, emotions, or physically low vibration in your body. So if you can't connect with Mother Gaia, if you can't clear out your own shadow material, if you're constantly intaking low vibrational frequencies through TV, through low vibe food, through high sugar content, high processed food, and through the negative energies of the people around you, like complaining at the water cooler at your job, for example, or connecting with friends who just want to complain all the time and commiserating all the time. All of this stuff is like going to keep you unable to manage the energetic destabilization that's going on. Okay, so that means that when pressure of some kind hits, you've got no way to clear it. And so what happens for people who are dealing with that is they can attack, or they can reject, or they can betray, or drop someone close to them like a hot potato, and it comes as a shock. And who are the people who they tend to attack? So if someone's operating at a low vibrational frequency and they can't manage the energetic destabilization that's going on the planet, they're going to attack, accuse, project, or drop like a hot potato the people in their field who make them the most uncomfortable. And who are those people? The high vibe people. Because when we hold a lot of light and we emanate that light, the people who are still in a lot of darkness actually sort of feel pierced by darkness. Now, those of you who know me, and I make these videos for people who know me because it's not like I have some big following of people who don't know me. So many of you know that in the very recent past, shortly after my marriage, I was extremely attacked by a family member. And that's been something that I've worked daily on to cultivate the skills to heal in the highest possible way without engagement with that person who doesn't want to engage with me. So that was one thing that's happened, and it's really called me to develop skills or to relearn, remember skills. And then just very recently again, someone who I was very close to dropped me like a hot potato, like really shocking. Like, I love this person and this person loves me, and all of a sudden it's like this really sort of cold, calculated, like, and I'm working on, re-engaging conversation there. But whether that person wants to re-engage or not, it's my responsibility to figure out, to use all of my tools to come to loving kindness and peace in this situation. So that's what I want to complete the rest of this video with, is some sharing with you some of the key tools that I've found that are most valuable. And below this video, I'm going to link all the different things that I refer to here. So let me go to, so it's been a daily intensive process attending to the shock of the attack by the family member, and now I'm able to apply these immediately to this other friend, person I consider a dear friend, who just, like, whoo, okay, and dropped me like a hot potato. Okay, the first is releasing my own emotions and feelings around the shock. So this is what I want to invite you first to do, is to recognize that going into spiritual bypass, I just want to send them love and I don't need to feel my negative emotions around this, is not actually helpful. It's important to offer love, of course, but we have to honor in ourselves that shadow, that feeling of anger, rage, pain, hurt, etc. So I have this styrofoam padded plastic baseball bat. And this has been a very helpful tool for me. This was recommended to me by my chiropractor, actually, to release emotional charge. So when I'm feeling really angry or rageful at things that have hurt me, not just in these particular circumstances, but anytime, I can take that bat out and I can whack the heck out of the bed and express my anger through words, or even just through like roaring. And this really helps me to release from my body energetically the feelings and emotions that are in there that need to be released. Some friends I know like to wring a towel. They say that this is more in alignment with when they're angry, they're rageful, and they're just like, ah. So whatever, but the release of the emotional charge is essential. Release it from your body. That's really step number one, and it's not like you just do them in order, but it's very important that you permit, when you feel a lot of those feelings arise, to do that. Okay, you could also write it out or talk it out. So there was one time in this process with my family member where my husband took a big pillow, we have with this big red pillow, and he put it on the chair I usually sit at, and he said, there, talk to that person now and tell them everything you feel now, just let it all out. And he held space for me while I just, raged and got, self-righteous and this kind of thing. I had to let it out. But I had to let it out in a way that wasn't going to harm anybody. So that's step number one. Now, Grounding myself in my daily practices is the next thing. So whatever your daily practices are, recommit to them in a strong way. So if you receive an attack or a rejection that comes out of left field, a shock of some kind, redouble your efforts to ground in your sacred practices. For me, that's sitting in front of my altar every day. That's dedicating myself as a priestess of the goddess. That's clearing my chakras every day. That's calling in light, pulling light into my body, anchoring myself in light, saturating myself in light, shielding and surrounding myself in light. These are my foundational daily practices, so I make sure that I do them because it grounds me in the truth of my being. So whatever those are for you, and I do encourage chakra clearing, and I'm going to put a link to my dear friend Lisa's chakra clearing or to her website so you could find out about that. I mean, there are many, right? I do my own, but this is a good one. Okay, then recently I came across a prayer practice that has been helping me tremendously. And this comes to me from a new friend, Tina Louise Spalding, by way of A Course in Miracles. And I'm going to link her website too below. Tina Louise she's a channel, and she's channeled 6 books in 5 years. And she credits her ability to have access to this kind of wisdom guidance thanks to doing these prayers. So I'm going to share this with you now. The first part of it is, please transform my perception so that I may see the truth. And this alone has offered me so much grace and understanding with regard to that family member I've been referring to. Profound insights with this. Please transform my perception so that I may see the truth. And the second part is, I offer up this relationship to the Holy Spirit. And you could say God, Goddess, Great Spirit, Higher Self, whatever to you is the ultimate divinity. Please, I offer this relationship up to the Holy Spirit so that we may both be free. So that's the second part of that prayer. And I really have found that that is extremely helpful. And then the final piece of thing that you can do, or that I'm doing right now, is I am redoubling my commitment to learning the process of nonviolent communication, to really understand how this works. And there's a book, I meant to bring it in here and I forgot. So back in the 1980s, maybe it was the 70s, 1980s perhaps, he wrote the book. A man named Marshall Rosenberg, the late great Marshall Rosenberg, wrote a book called Nonviolent Communication. However, throughout the 60s and 70s, he was developing this profound body of work that is, I feel, one of the great tools of our age that is really undervalued. I consider it one of the 5 petals of empowered feminine leadership is to be able to communicate nonviolently. And interestingly, as I teach the different petals, this is the one that gets the least attention, but I feel it is the work of our time. So I will also share that link below here. It's so important for us to learn ways of communication that are loving, compassionate, nonviolent, and mutually empowering. And I feel Marshall Rosenberg was the absolute maverick, groundbreaker, forerunner of this, and what he established is profound. So all of this, I feel, all of what I'm sharing with you is really a way for us to become compassionately resilient. Because during these times of energetic destabilization, more and more people are going to basically not keep pace, become more stressed out. And when they do, when they're vibrating, when they've got a lot of low vibrational unprocessed material within, and they can't keep pace with the vibrational frequencies, they get stressed out. And if they don't know how to communicate, they're going to project. They're going to project their anger, and they're going to project it onto people around them who are emanating more light. So it's our responsibility to know how to, first of all, clear it within ourselves, and then secondly, offer processes or communication abilities that open space for dialogue and open space for compassionate understanding. Whether that other person wants to engage with us or not, we have to do it for ourselves to keep our own vibrational frequency high. So again, just as a kind of summary of, how do we deal with these coming out of left field attacks or rejections by people in our lives? First, give yourself permission to feel your feelings and process them accordingly in a safe way that's not going to harm others. Redouble your efforts to ground yourself in your own sacred practices, whatever they are. Connect with Mother Gaia. Make sure that you are pacing with the increase of frequencies on the planet. Become a compassionate advocate of nonviolent communication by learning that even the basics of that process. And certainly use this beautiful prayer that comes apparently from A Course in Miracles, which is, I will say it one more time to complete this video. Please transform my perceptions so that I may see the truth. And I offer this relationship up to the Holy Spirit so that we may both be free. And with that, my dear friends, I offer this with love and appreciation for all your efforts and intentions to hold high vibration and to be a force of love and light on this planet at this tremendous time. With love. Thank you, thank you, thank you.